On. To those of you on Facebook Live and YouTube, we appreciate your attendance. This is the Home Spiritual Center Sunday service for November 3rd, 2024. Our opening prayer. I present to you this morning the members of our Home Spiritual Center family. You know us all so well, God, and you still love us. I ask that you would cover us with a shield of love that will draw us together to work out our differences, love that helps us to celebrate together and care for one another, love that is like a banner in our lives, always waving above our heads wherever we go, love that overcomes adversity and gathers strength as we age, love that guides us and gives us direction to our future alone and together, love that fuels our faith, and love that breathes peace in our hearts. May our family live in the peace and harmony that will result from this divine love. We are all unique, and yet we reflect divine love as one. In that love that is so divine, amen. Reverend Madge.
Thank you. Are you guys warm enough?
Yes.
All right. Me too.
Yeah.
And it's a little warm up here. So thank you for that. And thank you for being here, our online audience. So I've been thinking a lot about the potential for great unrest in our immediate future and what we can do to help make a difference in that possibility. Who knows? The story isn't written yet. But I don't want to put a lot of energy into the unrest at the same time. I'm not going to pretend like it's not possible. And I'm not going to, pretend like everything's going to be rosy. I feel strongly that it's important for me to talk about it today and ways of how we can be in our community together. Greg Braden talks about how we can talk about things that are considered negative or considered to be what we don't want. And he says we can talk about those things. What matters is how much energy we put into it. What is the energy and the emotion that we put into it? And I thought, oh, what a relief. Because we have to talk about difficult things. We have to talk about unpleasant things. But it doesn't mean that we're going to make it happen because we talk about it. We don't buy insurance because we just are convinced that we're going to, now about insurance, our house is going to burn down. That isn't how it works. So I'm really grateful for that. And so I stand up here today, and I'm not going to be preaching fear. Don't need to go there. We don't want that. We don't want that in our future. We're not going to be talking about how bad it might be. We're not going to go there either. But we do need to at least, kind of come on the same page. We all kind of know that the election's coming up and there's a potential for things to be unsettled. So what I am going to talk about is how we can stay on a higher plane, a higher strata of vibrational frequencies of what we do want, and how we can help be the catalyst for making a difference. So I really appreciate Greg Braden's perspective because, we have to be honest, as I said, about what's real and the potential of things that can happen. And we can be proactive. So what I want to put our energy into is being proactive for a good outcome. So I've never been anybody that sticks my head in the sand. And I've never been one. I didn't even pretend when I was a kid. I wasn't good at pretending. It just wasn't a thing I did. I would harass my teacher, my sister, my little sister, for pretending. I would squeeze her doll's head because she was pretending it was real. It made her squeal. It was fun. That was real. But her doll wasn't. I was always like, that's not real. So I can't do that now. I can't pretend. I'm not going to say, oh, let's just all make it nice and pretty and nothing's, everything's going to be fine. So anyway, so the potential is real that in the next few weeks and months to come that things could be rocky and we could be in for a pretty good shakeup. We don't know. And we all want change, but we don't want the process of change. We want things to be changed, but we want consistency. We want security. We want safety. We want convenience through this change. So somebody else is supposed to do it, but don't take those things away from us because that makes us scared. So the process of change is messy. It's messy. It's like when we want to paint our living room and we pick out this beautiful color and we dream about the walls and how pretty it's going to be and we visualize it and dream it into being, and then we decide to do the project to change our environment, make it better. And we start pulling out furniture and we find dust bunnies and we find dirt and we find piles of dog hair and it's messy. And we find that remote that we couldn't find. We bought a new one ages ago, months ago. We find kids' toys that were left there years ago. You know that one, right? Yeah. It's messy to create change. It's messy to pull things out and make things better in the long run. And that kind of messy is embarrassing in our home. When Joe and I moved to where we are now and we're pulling all this stuff out, I thought, I am never going to let this happen again. Every year I'm going to go through every room, pull out all the dressers and beds and clean out underneath. I haven't done it yet. I've been there, since 2017, and I haven't done it yet. But at the time, it was embarrassing enough that I thought, I am never letting this happen again. Yeah, I did. So process of change is not fun. And, it's sounding like, from what I'm hearing, that things might get pretty difficult in a sense. There's a lot of things that we can't change. There's a lot of things we won't be able to affect. But what we can do, and the question that rises is, how can we help make the changes as painless as possible? How can we steer it for the best outcome that we want to have and the best outcome for everybody? What we can do is we can broadcast love. We can broadcast unity. We can broadcast peace and harmony from our mind and our heart. We can get our mind and our heart coherent in the same vibrational frequency, and we can broadcast that out. That is powerful. We don't ever want to underestimate the power of coherence of our mind and heart. There's a lot of folks meditating for peace right now. I keep hearing about these different groups. They're meditating for peace and praying for peace. And that's beautiful, beautiful. We get enough of that going and we'll get into a tipping point where the things we don't want to happen can't, and it can be better. It can be more graceful. And that's all great and wonderful. Don't ever stop. Don't stop doing the peace thing. Lord knows we need it now more than ever. We need all of that. So, but however, I want to challenge us a little bit to look deeper into the idea of peace. Because on the flip side, peace can come with a price. It can come with a price. We might have a disagreement with a loved one. And if we're getting along right then, we have a disagreement, we're getting along right now. It's like, well, our relationship's pretty good right now. I don't want to rock the boat. So even though I'm mad at him, I'm not going to say anything because I want to keep the peace. How many times have we done that? I just want to keep the peace, so we don't say anything. That's not peace. That's stuffing. That's stuffing it. And when we do, when we stuff it, it's going to be resentment. It's going to be dissonant energy that's brewing inside. Not that we need to come out and attack anybody for it, but we need to be mindful about resolution, because it will fester and it will come out somewhere, someday, at some point in time, over something that's probably pretty small and irrelevant, and create a big old mess. But at this moment, or at that moment when we say that, when we say, I just want to keep peace, our intentions are good. our intentions, are we're just wanting to have a life that is peace, but it's not true peace. So what is peace? What is it? How do we obtain it? How do we achieve it? Peace is the outcome of an action. It's the outcome of a mindset. It's the outcome of a state of mind that we hold. So where does peace come from? It's the result of harmony. Peace is the outcome of harmony. It's the outcome of compassion, respect for one another. And it comes from treating each other or treating the other in the way we want to be treated. We want to be treated in a particular way. We need to treat each other the way we want to be treated. That leads to peace. And it's seeing the God within, regardless of their political stand, regardless of the color of their skin, regardless of the clothes that they wear, or what their belief system is, or where they're from. It doesn't matter. It's seeing the God within. And peace comes from being in harmony with the other, in harmony with each other, and in harmony with our environment. That's really equally as important, to be in harmony with our environment. Harmony in whatever, fill in the blanks. Harmony is a very powerful thing. I've fallen in love with harmony these days. It's so beautiful. I like to think about how people sing together. That's why I selected the song I did, because of the harmonies that these three young people were singing with in their voices. And they harmonized with each other. And that's a metaphor for how we can be in life. One person singing one note, another person singing another note, and together they're in the same key. There's a word, notice the use of the word of key. It unlocks peace, harmony. The harmony, when two people are singing two different notes in the same key, they create another sound. When those two vibrational sounds come together, those two notes come together, there's a third sound that is created. It's a really beautiful example of how when two or more are gathered, they're greater than the sum of the whole. And that's just in singing. Think about how we are when we're in resonance with our mind and our heart, sending out that coherent frequency of love and unity, and we come together. They're not in discord just because they're singing different notes. One person can believe this person can believe that. This person can vote this way, and this person can vote that way. But we can still be together in harmony for a desired outcome and have peace and have harmony, not discord. It doesn't have to be discord. In fact, when people sing and harmonize, it's just such a healing thing too. Harmonies are healing. My dad used to just cry. He would hear a song where their harmonies were beautiful, and he would just fall into the song, and tears would run down his face. Was little watching him thinking, yeah, I appreciated his vulnerability and his appreciation of the music. It was really sweet. So harmonizing and harmony is the key. Think of musical keys, is the key to peace. Oneness and unity are easy when we're in agreement with each other. The challenge comes when we're not in agreement. Agreement makes harmony and oneness and unity easy. Oh, look at, we're saying the same thing. We feel the same way about this or that, and then it's really easy. But in our current political situation and in our environment, it's not that easy to be in harmony and see the oneness and the unity in each other. We have to step over the opposing opinions of what we hear and see and feel, because we might think we're right, but the other person thinks they're right. So we all have to step over the opposing feelings that are generated from that, the opposing opinions, and stand together for something higher, the thing that we're all striving for. I just had this experience yesterday with a friend of mine. I was on the phone with her. I hadn't talked to her in a long time. And to my surprise, she switched political parties. And I thought, oh, I had no idea. And she talked about the loss of a friend of hers since she'd had since 1972 over that switch. And I thought, what a sad, sad thing that their friendship or her friend's heart wasn't stronger, that she would lose a friend over that. So we both had this beautiful conversation about how we felt about things and how we saw things. And at the end of our conversation, we still had deep respect for each other, and we still said, I love you at the end of the conversation. And it was so meaningful to be in, to be in different places in our environment, in our world. And we still at the end of the conversation said, I love you. And I thought, oh, this is how we all need to be with each other. And I need to be with each other too. So how can we harmonize with someone that is shouting out ugly stuff? That's a challenge. How can we harmonize with someone that's name calling or being violent or destroying property? Then is the real challenge. That is the real challenge. They still have God within them, as do we, as a witness to it. We can't return hate with hate. We can't return that vibrational frequency of what we witness with an equal kind, or might witness, or whatever. Or if somebody's triggered in their heart and they've lost sight of God, they've lost sight of their higher self, they've lost sight of what this is really all about, coming to a higher dimension. They've lost in touch with God in their heart. Then it's really hard to be in harmony with that. But we can be in harmony with ourself. We can be in harmony with our relationship with Source and still hold the energy and the presence of harmony. We can't fight for peace. It doesn't work. To fight for peace is a cancellation. You cancel peace by fighting for peace. You don't fight for it. A lot of years ago, they had a peace walk downtown, and Joe and I were witness to it. And a friend of ours was a part of it, a part of the peace walk. A very, very peaceful person. Well, there was this one young man out in the front of everybody in this peace walk, shouting and being absurd and trying to get people all rallied up and angry, and nobody was buying into it. He looked like a fool. And finally, our friend went up to him and said, you got to quit this. This is not what this is about. We're here for peace, and you're not demonstrating that. And then he looked around, and everybody was looking at him like, what are you doing here? And why are you behaving like that? And then he was embarrassed. And I thought, good, that's a good embarrassment. Yeah. Nobody intentionally embarrassed him, but just pointed out that he was not in harmony with the event. And he stopped. He didn't want to stop because, man, he was revved up and raging over what? Who knows? But it was a peace walk, and he didn't fit. So it was really great. I appreciated being a witness to that circumstance. It's equally important to be in harmony with ourselves. It's our responsibility to look at what triggers us, what triggers our emotional eruptions that inspire the battle within us and in our own mind and in our own hearts. We might not be fighting on the streets or at the Capitol, but our internal conflict is still contributing to the collective. So it's really important to be responsible for what we're carrying, the conflicts that we're carrying, the old fights that we're carrying, the unspokenness, that argument that we're still having from 10 years ago in our head. I just caught myself doing that the other day. It's like, really, Madge? Really? You're still arguing that? Really? I was embarrassed at myself. Nobody was around to hear my internal dialogue except Spirit, but I was embarrassed at my behavior. So hold on to your innate joy. We all have a spark of joy within us. Whether we can find it or not might be another issue, but it's there. It's the spark of Source. It's the spark of life. It's the spark of God. And we need to find it and hold on to it and be aware of it and feed that. Feed the joy for life that we have this capacity for holding and experiencing in our heart. It's there, even in the face of adversity, even in the face of difficult circumstances. We are not being, some people feel guilty about being happy when things are difficult. They feel like it's not fit. I don't have a right to be happy. There's problems. You can still feel the joy in your heart for life and for what we've been given. We can still feel the joy of gratitude for what we have. And that is, the joy is our superpower for alchemy. If you can carry joy in your heart, you can alchemize situations. You can alchemize. I see somebody nudging back there. I love your conversation you just had. Huh? You can alchemize difficult circumstances with your joy. You can heal your body with joy. I have a family member, when they get burned, they find that joyous spark in their heart and they hold that burn, and they come back a few minutes later and there's no burn and no pain. They heal their body with the alchemy of joy. And we can do that in our life. We can do that in our society. We can do that for our country. We can do it in a global kind of way, but we can also do it as a community here at Home Center, as a collective. And remember, it doesn't take that many people to affect a greater consciousness. And we can put that joy into our collective consciousness. Because when we can do that, when we can alchemize with joy, we're expanding consciousness. We're expanding universal love. We're increasing our vibrational frequency into oneness with all that is, and with God, or whatever it is that you have as your belief system, of which is greater than you, your higher self, source, spirit, whatever. The transition of what this country is changing, it's changing from what it has been into what it's going to be, just like all of us in our personal lives grow and transition. The country, the world, planet is transitioning from what it has been to what it's going to be. And we can contribute to either the chaos or the grace and the beauty. So we don't want to contribute to the chaos. We want to contribute to the ease and the grace and beauty of this transition. So I want us to all hold strong to our faith, to harmony, and to optimism, and hold on to the knowing that there is a divine plan. We just don't get to understand it right now. Hindsight is always so good. Hindsight's delicious. But we just don't get to see right now. But we have to hold on to that faith and keep that spark of joy alive in your heart, even when things don't seem so bright or things frighten us or confuse us. We don't want to go there. Hold on to your joy. I love you all, and we're all going to get through this together. Our community is going to be strong. I know that. Yes. All right. So let's close our eyes for a moment. And we're going to go in and we're going to see if we can access, resource, and solidify that spark of joy. So take a nice deep breath and drop your shoulders. Relax your neck. Relax your torso. And focus in your mind's eye on the happiest moment of your life. What was it that you were doing? Who were you with that generated that feeling of joy in your heart? Whether you were little, whether you're an adult, whether it was a special day. And feel the feelings of that joy and notice where it is in your body. Most likely it's in the middle of your chest, right there centered in your heart chakra, in that beautiful energy center of love. And let that joy just reside, percolate inside of you as you feel the feelings, reminding yourself of what that feels like. If you can't find it, then identify the barriers to it and really reach past those barriers. And feel that feeling just swelling up inside your heart of that joy, alchemizing the barriers, alchemizing any fears you might have. Knowing that that joy is the source of life, that joy is the source of your soul. That joy is the connection to your higher self and to your God source. And make a commitment to yourself that you're going to remember where this is. You're going to remember where it resides in you. You're going to memorize this feeling. So when things come at you and life gets a little confusing or frightening or tough, you're going to remember this feeling and you're going to go back to it. And you're going to bring it up and let that be where you live from. Let this beautiful, special place just live inside of you and be your magnificent self. Be your beautiful self with this beautiful heart, alchemizing anything in your environment that is not of like kind. Keeping your focus on the God self and the other in their God self. Knowing we're all here for a purpose. We're all here at this time. We all agreed to the yes. And for that, we are so grateful to have this opportunity to make a difference in the world. So just hold on to that feeling as you bring yourself back into this present moment, into this room, knowing that that joy is going to continue to reside in your heart and in your chest, and your actions and your words will come from that place. And so it is. You guys doing all right? Everybody back with me? All right. So we're going to do our offering for the home center. Lynn's got the basket. So we'll put the gift to the home center between our hands, charging it up with that love and that spirit of joy that we just connected with. We just put that joy into the gift to the home center, blessing the home center in whatever way it comes. And it moves through the home center and comes back to you, blessing you 100 times with all of your wants, needs, and desires that are going to serve your highest and your greatest good. And let that be so. All right, so Lynn's got the basket going around, and I'm going to invite Dick back up here so that he can share a message and our closing prayer.
I have this morning some World According to Dick statements for you as soon as I change my glasses. Number one, this one my dad gave me before I was even 10 years old. If you borrow something from someone, when you return it to them, you return it in better condition than it was when you borrowed it. Number two came up just about a month ago here, but I came up with this one when I used to be working at Woodland Chapel. If you light a candle in the little jars, stay with it. Don't leave it until you put it out. Number three, do not speak ill of any person, because you will always be on the high ground if you don't. Be quick to forgive and do not condition your forgiveness. How many people say, I forgive you, sweetheart, but don't let it happen again? Well, that's not forgiveness. And number five, do what you can with what you have in the moment. Now, that's been around for a long time. And I believe that one firmly because I used that in Alaska on all the trips I made to fix things for people. I'm pretty sure that's how God created this universe. And it's actually turned out pretty well. So I'll just go with that. And now our closing prayer. It's going to be a short one. Thank you, God, for this day and for our home center family. I bless the people of this world. I bless our loved ones far and near. I pray we all have too deep a sense of humor to be proud. May we see our absurdities before we act absurdly. And may we realize that when we are humble, we are most human, most truthful, and most worthy of life and love here on earth. Yes, and may we love without reservation. That will do. In God in Christ, love and light. Amen. Now let me change my glasses so I can read our closing. I think I know where the bifocals are, but I don't have them. To those of watching us on Facebook Live and YouTube, this ends our Sunday service from the Home Spiritual Center. We're glad you were with us. I hope to see you again next week. Home Center out.